My sister-in-law demanded I babysit her kid for free, saying I'm selfish since I don't have kids. Now she's guilt-tripping me nonstop and my husband won't back me up. What would you do? I've been holding on to this for a while and need to let it out. And I thought Reddit's perfect since I've seen folks work through similar stuff here. I'm a 32-year-old wife, married to Jack for 5 years now, and lately, I've been stuck in this mess with my sister-in-law, Emma. She's 29, Jack's younger sister, and she's got a 4-year-old daughter named Ava. Here's the deal. Emma keeps trying to shove Ava onto me to babysit like all the time for free, and I'm at my breaking point. I don't know if I'm being a jerk for pushing back or if she's just out of line. Let me break it down. Jack and I don't have kids yet. We've talked about it, but we're both working full-time, and honestly, we like our routine. I'm an office manager at a small logistics company. Nothing glamorous, but it's steady and pays the bills. Jack's a mechanic, and he's usually wiped out by the time he gets home. We live in a decent 2-bedroom apartment about 20 minutes from Emma's place. She's a single mom, works part-time at a retail gig, and I get that raising a kid alone isn't easy. Ava's dad isn't in the picture. He bailed when she was a baby, and Emma's been figuring it out since. I've always tried to be sympathetic, you know? Family's family. But lately, it feels like she's taking that sympathy and running me over with it. Started small. Back in January, Emma texted me one Friday night saying her usual babysitter flaked and she had a shift she couldn't miss. Could I watch Ava for a few hours? I said sure, no big deal. Jack was working late anyway, so I figured I'd just pop some frozen nuggets in the oven and let Ava watch cartoons on our couch. She's a cute kid. Big brown eyes, curly hair. But she's also 4, so she's loud, messy, and doesn't sit still. That night, she spilled juice all over our rug, and I had to scrub it out while she ran around yelling about Paw Patrol. Emma picked her up around 10 p.m., said thanks, and that was that. I didn't mind too much, but then it kept happening. A week later, she asked again. Same story, babysitter canceled. Then it was, oh, I've got a date. Can you take her? Or, I'm meeting friends, it's just for a bit. By March, it was every other week. I started noticing she never offered gas money or even a coffee as a thank you. I'd spend my evenings chasing Ava around, picking up crayon wrappers, and wiping sticky hands off my furniture, and Emma would waltz in like it was nothing. I hinted once like, hey, maybe I could use a heads up so I can plan my night. And she just laughed it off, saying, you're the best, I owe you one. Yeah, okay, but when's that one getting cashed in? Here's where it gets messy. About 2 months ago, Emma straight up told me she wants me to be Ava's regular sitter. Not asked, told. We were at my mother-in-law's house for Sunday dinner. Just the usual family thing, me, Jack, Emma, Ava, and my in-laws. Ava was tearing around the backyard, and Emma was scrolling her phone while my mother-in-law fussed over the roast. Out of nowhere, Emma goes, hey, I've been thinking, daycare's so expensive, and Ava loves you. Why don't you just watch her during the day? I'll drop her off before work. I blinked at her, thinking she's joking, but she kept going. You're home by 5, right? I can pick her up after my shift. It'd save me so much stress. I almost choked on my mashed potatoes. First off, I'm not home by 5. I leave work at 5, fight traffic, and maybe get home by 5:45 if I'm lucky. Second, I don't want to spend my evenings wrangling a preschooler after 8 hours at my desk. I tried to be polite, saying, Emma, I've got my own stuff going on. I can't just take that on full-time. She frowned, like I'd insulted her, and said, but you don't have kids. It's not like you're busy. Excuse me? I've got a job, a husband, a life. I'm not sitting around twiddling my thumbs waiting to be her free nanny. Jack didn't help. I looked at him, expecting backup, but he just shrugged and said, she's got a point, Soph, but maybe we can figure something else out. Figure what out? I'm not a daycare. Emma doubled down, saying, come on, it's not that hard. She's family. You'd be helping me so much. I mumbled something about needing to think about it and shoveled food in my mouth to end the conversation. My mother-in-law chimed in with, oh, it'd be nice for Ava to spend time with her auntie. And I wanted to scream, nice for who? Since then, Emma's been relentless. She texts me almost daily with some version of, "Can Ava come over?" Or, "I'm in a bind. You're my only option." Last week, she showed up unannounced with Ava in tow, claiming she had a work emergency. I was in the middle of cooking dinner, nothing fancy, just spaghetti, and suddenly I've got Ava climbing my counters while Emma's out the door before I can say no. She didn't come back till 9 p.m., and when I asked what the emergency was, she said, "Oh, they needed someone to cover a shift, so not an emergency, just her picking up extra hours and dumping her kid on me." I'm starting to lose it. Ava's not the problem. She's a kid, she's just doing kid stuff, but she's a handful. Last time, she dumped a whole bag of goldfish crackers on the floor and stomped them into dust while I was in the bathroom for 2 minutes. I spent 20 minutes vacuuming while she cried because I wouldn't let her have more. I'm not cut out for this. I don't have the energy to chase her around after work, and our place isn't kid-proofed. We've got glass coasters, a coffee table with sharp edges, and no baby gates. I'm terrified she'll hurt herself one day, and then what? Emma will probably blame me. Jack's no help either. I've told him how stressed this makes me, how I feel like Emma's walking all over me, but he just says, "She's my sister. Babe, she's got it rough. Can't you cut her some slack?" Slack? I've been cutting slack for months. He thinks I'm overreacting because it's just family helping family. But he's not the one scrubbing marker off the walls or missing out on a quiet night. He'll play with Ava for 10 minutes when he's home, then zone out on his phone while I'm stuck playing referee. I love him, but this is driving a wedge between us. Last night, we argued about it. Me saying I'm done, him saying I'm being selfish, and now he's sleeping on the couch. Great. Then there's the money thing. Emma keeps crying broke, saying daycare's $800 a month and she can't swing it. I get that's a lot. I'm not heartless, but I've seen her Instagram. 2 weeks ago, she posted a pic of new boots, and last month, she got her nails done. I'm not saying she can't treat herself, but don't tell me you're strapped and then flash a $50 manicure while I'm over here babysitting for free. I brought it up once, casually like, "Hey, if money's tight, maybe skip the takeout for a bit?" She got all defensive, saying, "I deserve nice things too, you know? I'm not just a mom." Okay. But I'm not just a babysitter either. My mother-in-law's making it worse. She called me a few days ago, all sweet and syrupy, saying, "Emma's really struggling, dear. It'd mean so much if you could step up. That's what family does." I wanted to ask why she's not stepping up then. She's retired, lives 10 minutes from Emma, and has an empty nest. But no, it's all on me because I'm the childless one, I guess. I told her I'd think about it, but I'm not thinking about anything except how to get out of this. It's not just the time or the mess. It's the entitlement. Emma acts like I owe her this because I'm married to her brother. I've helped her before, too, not just with Ava. Back when Jack and I were engaged, she borrowed $200 from me for rent and never paid it back. I let it slide because wedding planning was stressful enough. Another time, I drove her to the ER at 2 a.m. when Ava had a fever. She didn't have a car then, and I didn't even complain. But now it's like every favor I've ever done means I'm her personal servant forever. She doesn't ask anymore. She expects. I hit my limit last weekend. Emma dropped Ava off Saturday morning. Again, no warning, saying she'd be back by noon. Noon turned into 3 p.m., then 6 p.m. I texted her, like, "Hey, where are you? I've got plans." She said, "Oh, I got caught up with friends. Can you keep her till 8? I was furious. My plans were just crashing on the couch with a glass of wine after a brutal week. But that's beside the point. I told her no, she needs to come now. She showed up at 7:30, acting all annoyed, like I'd inconvenienced her. Ava was whining because she was tired, and Emma snapped at me. "You could have put her down for a nap." "Where? In my bed? We don't even have a spare room." I laid into her, quietly because Ava was there, saying I'm not her free daycare, I've got my own life, and she needs to figure this out. She rolled her eyes and said, "Wow, didn't think you'd be so petty about helping family." Petty? I've been watching her kid for months. Jack overheard and pulled me aside after she left, saying I was too harsh and Emma's going through a lot. I asked what about what I'm going through, and he just sighed and said, Let's not fight about this again. Now I'm stuck. Emma's still texting me, acting like nothing happened. Yesterday it was, hey, can Ava come over tomorrow? I've got a thing. I haven't replied yet. Jack's barely talking to me, and my mother-in-law left me a voicemail saying she's disappointed. I'm not being more supportive. I feel like I'm drowning. I don't hate Ava. She's a kid. She's sweet when she's not destroying my place, but I can't keep doing this. I'm exhausted. I'm mad. And I'm starting to resent everyone. But then I wonder if I'm the problem. Emma's a single mom, and yeah, that's tough. Maybe I could suck it up a little longer? Or am I right to put my foot down? Update. The progress made since that point. It's been 9 months since I last vented here, and holy crap, things have shifted in ways I didn't see coming. I figured I'd update you all because this mess with Emma trying to make me her unpaid babysitter didn't just fizzle out. It exploded, then morphed into something else entirely. I'm still reeling, Jack's still Jack, Emma's still a headache. And now there's a new problem on my plate that's honestly keeping me up at night. Here's where we're at. After that blowout where I told Emma I wasn't her free daycare, things got icy fast. I stopped answering her texts. Those, hey, can Ava come over? Messages dried up after I ignored about 5 in a row. She didn't confront me directly, but she started playing the passive-aggressive card hard. I'd see her posting on Instagram, stuff like pics of Ava with captions like, wish she had more family time, or, some people don't get how tough it is being a single mom. Subtle, right? I knew it was aimed at me, but I just scrolled past. Jack noticed too, and he'd sigh and mutter, she's just stressed. But I was done caring. I'd already bent over backwards, and my rug still had faint juice stains to prove it. The real shift came about a month after that fight. Jack and I were still rocky. He'd been sleeping on the couch off and on, and we barely talked without it turning into a snippy argument. One night, he came home from work, tossed his keys on the counter, and said, Emma's moving. I froze mid-stirring some soup and asked where. Turns out, she'd gotten a new job, full-time, better pay, at some retail chain's regional office 2 hours away. She was packing up Ava and her stuff to start fresh. I won't lie, my first thought was, good riddance. No more pop-ins, no more guilt trips. Jack seemed torn. He was happy for her but bummed she'd be farther from us. I didn't say much, just nodded and kept stirring. She moved out in December and for a while it was radio silence. I thought maybe that was it, conflict over, life back to normal. Jack and I started patching things up too. He apologized one night, rare for him, saying he should have backed me up more with Emma. I appreciated it, even if it took him months to get there. We weren't perfect, but we were talking again, laughing over dumb TV shows, getting back to us. I even started enjoying my evenings again. No Ava tornadoes, no Emma drama. Felt like I'd reclaimed my own space. But then spring hit, and Emma came roaring back into our lives. She called Jack out of the blue in April, saying the new job was great but childcare was a nightmare. The place she'd moved to had wait lists for decent daycares, and Ava was acting out. Tantrums, not listening, the works. Emma said it was because she missed family, and then dropped the bomb. She wanted us to take Ava for the summer. Not a weekend, not a week, the whole freaking summer. Jack told me this over dinner, and I nearly dropped my fork. He looked at me, all hesitant, and said, she's really struggling, babe. Maybe we could help out just this once. I stared at him like he'd grown a second head. Help out? After everything? I shut it down fast. I told him no way. I'm not turning our apartment into a 3-month preschool. Ava's a sweet kid, but I'd already done my time, and I wasn't signing up again. Jack pushed back, saying, she's my niece, and Emma's desperate. I snapped, then you take her. Quit your job and play stay-at-home uncle. He got quiet, and I could tell he was mad, but he didn't argue. Later, he called Emma back and said we couldn't do it. I heard her voice through the phone, loud and whiny, saying, I thought family sticks together. Jack just said, we've got our own stuff, Soph, and hung up. Progress, I guess. Emma didn't take it well. She started texting me directly again. Not asking this time, just unloading. Stuff like, I can't believe you'd abandon Ava like this. Or, Jack's changed since he married you. I didn't reply, but it stung. I showed Jack, and he told her to knock it off, which she did eventually. But the damage was done. She's pulled back from us completely now. No calls, no texts, just the occasional tagged photo on social media where she's with Ava and some new friends she's made out there. Jack's bummed about it. He misses his sister and niece, but I think he gets why I couldn't keep giving in. We're solid again, mostly, though he still gets the sad look sometimes when Ava comes up. Here's where I'm at now. I feel free, but also kind of guilty. Emma's 2 hours away, probably still pissed, and I don't know if we'll ever fix things. I don't hate her. I get that she's had it rough, but I couldn't keep being her crutch. Jack's been better about boundaries, and our apartment's peaceful again. I've even started painting in my spare time, something I hadn't touched since college. It's nice to have me time back. Ava's probably fine. She's young, she'll adjust, but I do wonder about her sometimes. Jack says Emma's figuring it out with a new sitter, so that's something. But now there's this new mess, and it's throwing me for a loop. A couple weeks ago, Jack's boss cut his hours at the shop. Some budget thing, not his fault. He's down to 4 days a week, and money's tighter than we're used to. We're okay for now, but it's stressful. And here's the kicker. Emma heard about it through my mother-in-law, who still calls Jack every week, and she started hinting that since he's got extra time, maybe he could come stay with her and watch Ava during the day. She framed it like a favor to him, like, "You could save on rent and help me out." Jack laughed it off when he told me, but I saw this glint in his eye, like he's actually considering it. He hasn't said yes, but he hasn't said no either. I'm freaking out. If he goes, I'm either stuck here alone, paying bills on one income, or I'm dragged into Emma's orbit again, 2 hours from my job and my life. I told him last night I'm not okay with this. He'd be walking right back into her mess after we just got out. He got defensive, saying, "I'm not deciding anything, just thinking." But I know him, he's a softer for family, and Emma's got that pull. I don't want to fight again, not after we've finally stabilized. But this feels like a ticking bomb. If he goes, I don't know what it'll do to us. And if I put my foot down again, am I just pushing him away? So yeah, that's the update. Emma's off doing her thing, Jack's wavering, and I'm stuck wondering if I'm about to lose everything I fought for. Money's tight, this new idea's looming, and I'm just trying to keep my head above water. Am I screwing up by not compromising here?
Thank you for watching. Drop a like, subscribe, and stick around for more.